But guys, we heard Tommy Jackson say that maybe the Dolphins are the next team. We talked maybe San Diego, that maybe the Dolphins are the next team in the AFC. Your thoughts on that? He kind of agreed with me on wide receiver. But the bigger question is, can they get to the Super Bowl? They were one game away last year.
First of all, I disagree with Tommy as far as Irving Fryer goes. I think Irving Fryer just really needed a change of address, and I think that's what he's going to get in Miami. He'll love the fact that Dan Marino will work him. Any receiver that has a quarterback throwing the football a lot is going to be thrilled. Mark Ingram gives him a little bit back of what Duper and Clayton used to be when in the younger years. Maybe small, but a lot of speed and very aggressive as a wide receiver. I think the Dolphins definitely have to be looked at as a team that'll be there. But as far as I'm concerned, the New York Jets have automatically become a contender. And I don't think they're over the hill. I don't think it's necessarily a pressing year. I still think the Houston Oilers are the best team in the AFC, and that's not going to change for another couple of years.
I still think the best talent in the AFC and a team that has one last serious crack is Buffalo. I would not rule them out yet, although Joe Montana to Kansas City, San Diego on the rise, Houston with their talent, Miami, which is right there, and improving still. I mean, the face is changing in the AFC as well, although Buffalo will tell you, don't count them out yet. Mel, what are your thoughts on
Well, I look at Miami. Last year in the draft, they went defense. They drafted Troy Vincent, Marco Coleman, Dwight Hollier, all contributed heavily. They brought in Eddie Blake to maybe try on the defensive line. That experiment didn't work. He's back at right guard, plugging a vital hole for the Miami Dolphin offense. I think right now, if you look at that running back position, I mentioned earlier, it's a question mark. With Higgs, they don't know if he'll be ready for camp. Humphrey's a question mark. Glenn Milburn would fit in very well because of his versatility. He comes from Stanford, where he played for Denny Green and Bill Walsh. What training ground that is. You look at his versatility as a punt kickoff returner. You can put him in a slot with his hands. You know, he's the kind of player that the Dolphins historically have wanted and never been able to acquire. A couple years ago, they looked at Harvey Williams very closely. He was gone. Now Milburn's there, and they can acquire him right now.
Well, here's the card on the way up, but we've seen less deals right out of the gates. We thought with the Phoenix and the Jets deal, it'll be a wild day. Hadn't been that wild. We'll comment on that here after the Miami pick. Well, you know what it is? It could be the tough spelling of the first name, right? If it's Milburn, right? See, this is a pronunciation discussion with Val Pinchback and the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue.
The Miami Dolphins select O.J. McDuffie, wide receiver from Penn State. San Francisco has the next two choices and has 30 minutes to make them.
Well, O.J. McDuffie on a lot of boards was the next wide receiver, Mel. On some.
I assume they didn't figure he was going to be there. You know, a lot of speculation at San Diego that Minnesota was looking at McDuffie. He slides down that far because of the knee injury this year. At the Japan Bowl, he wasn't able to work out for teams, and he also gives them that versatility as a punt kickoff returner that Milburn may have provided. So it's a similar pick, same position, little different type of player. Now, pure wide receiver to work in with Ingram, to work in with Fryer, whereas Milburn would have been more of your pure running back.
He's not large. He's 5'11", 186. But Mel, tell us about, you know, he doesn't come from a sophisticated offense either.
That's the thing. You look at Penn State, you know, they have that balanced offense, but he did put together a very productive career, can make the deep catch, adjust to the poorly thrown ball very well. The source of concern with McDuffie was the fact that he had that knee injury at the Japan Bowl. He didn't participate in the combine workout, and late in those last 2 months, teams really weren't able to get a lot of information on McDuffie. His 40 time wasn't spectacular. So when you look at O.J. McDuffie, you're looking at a guy that maybe got pushed down 5 to 7 spots because of that question mark.
I think O.J. McDuffie, in my opinion, fits right in like the Raiders used Tim Brown. He can play the inside slot position. He's got an awful lot of God-gifted ability. He's a very versatile football player. That's something that the Miami Dolphins really haven't had a lot. They haven't had that versatility at wide receiver. This kid can give them a lot of different positions, a lot of places to go. You look at the wide receiver court. Duper 30, Fryer 30, Banks 30, Ingram 30, Martin, who has been a disappointment, who really can step up and be something special, and of course Scott Miller, who's basically their kick return man. This young man can fit right in very well for him. Like I said, play the slot right away where you don't put a lot of pressure on him as a outside pressure receiver.
And the name Mark Clayton was not on that list. We've had 25 first-round picks in a round of 29.